Okay, what do we got here? We got the dark side of matchmaking in League of Legends, no less. Ooh, this should be fun. I thought, like, League has been around for so long, I thought they would have had their matchmaking ironed out at this point in time. But apparently not. There is a dark side to it. Ooh.
Recently, I realized something about ranked solo queue that I'm pretty sure all of us can agree with. That no matter how good you are, or how bad you are, we all relatively have the same experience when it comes to solo queue. Let me set the scene. You get on your computer one day and you have some sort of masochistic craving to be yelled at and treated like garbage. So in order to sate your desire, you open up League of Legends. And then you scroll over to that infamous ranked solo queue button. You queue up, you play.
So my history with League of Legends is very little and small, but I have dabbled in ranked, and the little bit of time I spent in bronze was seriously toxic. Like, it's something else. Like when people just mic up on some FPS and start shit talking you because, you know, they're little kids or whatever, and they're just like saying shit that comes out of their mouth or whatever. But for someone to hate you so much that they physically use their hands and type this shit, like they think it in their head first and type shit out, it's like, whoa, that's another level of like hatred and vitriol. And god dang.
Play a game and you win by a landslide as well. For some reason or another, it seems like every single person on your team was better than every single person on their team.
Nope, not me. Nope.
You continue to play League of Legends for another few hours, and you know what? You keep winning. The solo queue gods are in your favor, and you win again and again and again and again. And at this point, it's getting late, and you've had enough. You go to bed with a grin ear to ear, having dominated the Rift all day nearly effortlessly. The next day, you wake up, you do some life stuff, and finally, when you have some time to yourself, you queue up for some more solo queue to ride that wave of dopamine. You play your first game. The comps look fine. And then, finally, you get into it, and for the next 20 minutes, you get the absolute fucking shit kicked out of you. And this precedes an absolute insane losing streak that you wouldn't even wish upon your worst enemy. It almost feels like you're playing a completely different game.
It almost feels like you're playing Apex Lincoln Logs.
Teams have gone from supportive and caring about one another and working together to being batshit psychopaths threatening to int the second you don't bend to their will. What happened? Is it just a coincidence? Does every rise in rank have to lead to a meteoric decline so fast it can be a ride at Disneyland? Well, what if I told you that in a lot of instances, this is normal? Now, I do want to say that the article that I'm going to cite is specifically from EA. So none of this is directly attached to League of Legends or Overwatch or anything like that, but you'll...
Oh, bro, what is this ominous music? Like some dirty shit is about to get dropped.
See why I cite it. The article we're going to be diving into is called EOMM, an engagement...
Ooh, engagement optimized matchmaking framework. The FPS community doesn't know anything about this. Oh my god, bro, it's so funny that the FPS genre used to use this shit. Like, how long has League been using this shit? Like the engagement optimization. It was like engagement optimization matchmaking was like it had like a 3 or a 4 pattern like variable pattern where it was like win, lose, draw, or like lose, win, lose, draw, lose, draw, win. And it was something like that. And they picked the best pattern that retained the most players, because what they found like was that, and like the percentages on this are like so minuscule. It was like 3% to 5%. But then when you expand that to like tens and hundreds of thousands of players, it's like 3 to 5% of players and potentially customers that could be spending money on skins. Well, yeah, that 3 to 5% variability comes in real handy when you're trying to optimize the shit out of matchmaking.
optimized matchmaking framework, which is basically a long and fancy article in
Bro, what if real sports had engagement optimized matchmaking? You know? Like, what if real sports did that? You know, the NFL league, the basketball league, you know, they do away with their current tournament scheme or whatever, and then they just go along for like X amount of months, and teams just randomly play each other, and then, oh, we lost two. Hopefully we get a win or a draw next. That'll keep us playing. Like, how awkward does that sound? That just sounds weird as shit, dude.
In which researchers from EA prove that fairness and fun aren't really important in making engaging matchmaking.
No. And this is kind of engagement and fun. Trying to put engagement and fun onto League of Legends is so crazy because the amount of characters they have is ridiculous. I think they have like the most characters, playable characters in any game, like uniquely. Like up until that point, I thought it was like Super Smash Brothers Ultimate that had the most playable characters in any video game. But lo and behold, here comes League of Legends. Aren't they up to like almost 200 now? Characters? It's getting ridiculous.
And by engaging, they mean a matchmaking with the lowest possible chance of making players churn away from the game.
Churn.
I don't know why they use the word churn. I may be gold, but I'm not butter.
Churn? The reason why they use churn, because for whatever reason, players in League of Legends is like an international game. People across the earth play this shit. And every day there's like unique players coming in, going. All right. So because there is a constant flow of new players, I don't know how much it was, you know, in modern day League of Legends compared to, you know, League of Legends back in the day. There was probably some sort of prime time for League of Legends where it was just hundreds of thousands of players, like massive influx every day. 10K new uniques, 10K new uniques every day. But I don't know those numbers now. So the reason why they use churn is probably because there's still a shitload of players just, you know, maybe it's not a new player. Maybe it's a returning player. Somebody that has played for a couple seasons, they took a break for a couple seasons, and then they come back. You know, you go into the churner. Aren't you so happy to be playing League of Legends when you're just going to get churned? I know FPS bros are loving it.
An interesting thing to note here is that the researchers found exact combinations of wins and losses.
There it is. Yeah. So like on the low side, it's something like 2 to 3%, and on the high side, if you lose 3 in a row, there's a 5% chance that you just straight dip out. And what's even more hilarious is this win-win-win. There is a 3.7% chance that you dip out. This is so fucking funny to me. Between 2.5% and about 5%, they are so concerned with this 2.5% to 5% churn risk. This only goes to show you how neurotic these companies are at retaining players. This is the most crazy thing.
And were able to find the likelihood that a player would churn away. This data was collected from a popular PvP game developed by EA, and in this example specifically, the time players churned away was 1 week. Looking closer at the table, and what do you know? The outcomes with the lowest churn risks also happen to have more losses and draws than wins. To put it simply, if the game is detecting that you yourself are about to churn away because you're losing too much, it's likely that the game will artificially set you up against weaker players just to get you back into being addicted. Unfortunately, this obviously happens when you win too much as well.
So I would say this is fine for pub matches. However, this is not fine for ranked ladder. All right. This is fine for pubs and dog shit for ranked ladder. Ranked should have its own separate matchmaking system. This This is ridiculous. This is so stupid.
As we see here, throwing in a loss can also reduce churn risk, but it gets deeper. Researchers also found that a player's matchmaking should be based on the player state itself. A player state is a collection of features that are for the individual player. Examples include stuff like install date, play frequency, skill, etc. And
Oh wait, let me see.
stuff like install date, play frequency, skill.
Okay, so churn risk is also dictated by player state. So when you installed the game, they probably keep track of like your IPs and your hardware and all that shit. They probably keep track of, you know, how long you frequently play the game, like certain accounts log on, and your skill. So I would say this is like a one-time analytic. This is like an over the week, over the month analytic. And this thing, this skill bullet point can be blown out to so many subcategories. And even and what's funny is this was probably originally created for FPSs. And I know in FPS you can blow this out to a bunch of different bullet points, but for League of Legends, I would say this is a little bit more complicated. I mean, yeah, there's probably a couple reasons, like a couple kind of obvious things that you can visually see. Like, I don't really watch League of Legends, but I know, let me see if I can just name some random ass things. Like, I don't know if they can keep track of, well, they can keep track of, what are they, like minion kills or whatever. If you have a big minion kill at like a certain periods of time in the game, that's one thing. How many times you're, I don't know, going off into the jungle and getting like a red or a blue buff or a scuttle crab or the dragon or baron. I'm pretty sure those are still in the game. Or how many times you like drop a ward in certain spots. What else? How many times you dodge a skill shot, how many times you kill a player or whatever. Tons of different things in League of Legends,
etc. And thus, this information is turned into an equation that can predict when you yourself are close to churning away. The most worrying thing about this, however, as you may have guessed, is that with EOMM, your games are almost predetermined for you, making a profile based on your wins, losses, and habits, monitoring the odds in which you'll stay or go, and slightly adjusting it so that you fall back to being addicted again and again and again. Now, I don't know about you, but the fact that they stated that fun and fairness isn't really important to make.
Oh, so fun and fairness isn't important. So let's see. We will demonstrate, however, that this intuitive assumption sometimes fails, and that matchmaking based on fairness is not optimal for engagement. Dang. Are you engaged when you are playing a match? Bro, the FPS bros have the same fucking thing like in their head, okay? People bitching and complaining that, oh, I just got home from my 3 jobs to my 5 wives and my 9 kids, and all I want to do for an hour or two is sit down and turn my brain off and engage in the ranked system and just play the game and relax, all right? You don't play highly competitive multiplayer games to turn your brain off, all right? That's simply not the case. Nobody ever drops, like in League, nobody ever gets an ace or an Apex 20 bomb or a 4K badge or anything like that with their brain turned off, except controller players. I'm kidding, but not really. Okay, nobody ever does that. All right, if you want to like play good at the game, you have to be engaged. All right, this is not like fairness is not optimal for engagement. Like, this is ridiculous. How many like just expand this to like real life in sports. All right. like if you do a pickup game of like basketball at the park or something, fairness is thrown out the window and you are just truly in a pub match. All right, you have no idea, like you casually playing basketball or whatever, and it's like you and your boys versus like some other group of people, and you have no idea. You can kind of tell, maybe, maybe not, how like good they are, you know. But the illusion of fairness is it it, it it it's not there. It's not there. It's truly a public match in real life. All right, so the people that are making these systems and implementing them in these games, bro, these people have not played a real sport in their life. Okay. Oh my god.
Make engaging matchmaking is kind of worrying to me. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that fun and fairness is always the best choice either, if even possible. But the whole idea of a machine learning my habits to find the best way to keep me addicted for the little crumbs of LP I get here and there is kinda shitty. And the fact that this research even exists from such a gigantic and well-respected company like EA,
Yep.
it's hard to keep a straight face.
Yeah,
the fact
it is.
that this research even exists means that there is some intention behind it. I'm
Yeah.
not going to necessarily fault companies for doing whatever they can to keep us addicted to their games.
Not gonna fault companies for trying to keep them addicted to your games. I mean, maybe if you made a good game, I would stay addicted purely because of the fact that it's a good game, not because you're trying to keep me there under some false illusion that the game dev company has.
And obviously, though this research is conducted and made by EA, it's very obvious that Riot has their own set of algorithms possibly doing the same thing too. So what's the
maybe.
point? And why am I even talking about it? Well, I'm glad you asked. I think a lot of us should be informed about stuff like this because it gives us power in this situation. I'll be the first to admit it, and I'm
Oh yeah. So the reason the game companies don't want you to know about this is because if you know about it, you will more likely be inclined to take advantage of it. So if you know there's like the patterns or whatever, like the win lose draw bullshit, or the win 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 or lose lose lose, if you know those exist, then the game devs will assume that you will take advantage of them. So that means, you know, trying really hard against easy opponents, and then once that maybe you can sense that, you can tell by just the enemy's movements or whatever that it's a good team, and you look at your own team and how they move, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking int, or I'm just not gonna try as much. So that way the game will give me a better match, more in my favor the next time.
sure a lot of you noticed if you watched my stream, but bad solo queue games and losers queue games actually do get under my skin. I feel like a lot of us, whether you played League, Valorant, Apex, Fortnite, or whatever else, are predetermined on the idea of winning being everything. More so, a lot of us, myself included, also take losses to heart because in our brains we think that matchmaking is supposed to be fair. But it isn't, and that's okay. Does this...
So matchmaking is supposed to be fair, but in reality, it isn't. It's just not. And honestly, I don't think it'll ever be, as long as you play these games that he just rattled off.
Make MOBAs or team games shitty for doing whatever they can to keep us addicted? Kind of. But what can we do about it? That's easy. Let's form an understanding and realize that this shit is common now and will always be. If anything, it's gonna get worse. And the only way for us to be less affected by it is to fully understand that if you lose, so the fuck what? Not every game is gonna be a win, and every loss isn't your fault or anyone else's. There is a loser's queue. There are games that you're going to lose before even hovering your character, and that genuinely...
Dang. There's games that you're going to lose before you even hover your character in League of Legends. And I had no idea that League of Legends had a loser queue. That's news to me. God dang. Like, you get queued up with 10 other motherfuckers that just lost. Like, oh my god. Oh, that's so funny.
It does suck, but that's just how it goes in these kinds of games. Don't let it get to you, and the only thing that you yourself can monitor is whether or not you're having fun. And as long as we can keep our heads up and remember that, stupid shit like robot overlords dropping us into losers queue because we're winning too much won't have power over us. And that's just about everything I have to say on this topic, and I really do hope that this video helped you guys out, because I know figuring all of this stuff helped me out, because now if I ever have a really bad ranked game, I could just go, okay, Robot Overlord didn't want me to win. But I have a genuine question for you guys, and I do want to hear about this in the comment section, because I need to know if it's just confirmation bias or if this is a widespread thing. Whether it's League of Legends or Counter-Strike or Overwatch or whatever game you play, do you think losers queue is a thing? Do you?
So I have no idea what you're talking about when you mean loser queue. Like, I'm assuming that it is like what I said before. You lost a X amount of times, and in like the bottom thing over there, it was like if you lose 3 matches in a row, you're at least 5% at risk to just churn out or whatever. And so because of that, like maybe after 3 or 4 matches, the game will be like, oh shit, this motherfucker about to dip. We better give him an easy. We better throw him a bone. Does that exist? I think it does, because in a lot of these other games, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, didn't they have? Well, those games for sure have a loser queue, because you can literally just like throw your KD, and then it'll put you in like a shitty newbie lobby, so that you can just like drop like 100-0 matches. And it's been documented on YouTube that this was a thing. I forgot what it was called, but it was, I forgot the name of it, like what the actual word of it was called. It's like throwing your KD or inting your KD or something. Like you purposely lose matches in a row just to get into a shitty lobby, and then when you get into and this is of course public matches for COD and Battlefield, and then once you're in that shitty lobby, then that's the highlight match. You know, that's when you start hitting record. So it's like, oh my god, I just dropped 100-0. Check me out, guys. Oh, 100,000, 200,000 views on YouTube. Woo! That's the one that you post up, not the other matches before, where it was you just intentionally losing and dying over and over again. Yeah. Oh,
you find the games to be completely unwinnable the second you get into them, just for one reason or another. You get classed against people who are significantly better than you, or you get a bunch of toxic people on your team while they seem to be playing like a professional team in the LCS or whatever. I need to know your opinion, because I genuinely want to do more stuff like this, and I think seeing and gauging your guys' reactions would definitely be a great nudge in the right direction. Besides all of that, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I know that this is a pretty weird video. It's very heart to hearty, but I thought it would be a really good video to add to the channel, because it's something that is very interesting, and I hope that this helps you guys also deal with your losses in solo queue. I think that's all I have to say. Follow the stream. If you haven't followed the stream, I'm over there all the time, and we play a lot of bangers over there as well.
Nice.
That's all I have to say. Now click the videos that are on the screen to go watch some more bangers, huh?
Okay.
Go click one of these videos, and you can
well,
go watch
here, let me say
banger.
this. There was a point back here where you rattled off a bunch of games. Let me see if I can find it.
And a well-respected company like EA.
Well-respected company.
I'm sure a lot of you noticed if you watched my stream, but whatever else are predetermined on the idea. Okay, does lose, so the fuck what? Not every game is going to be a win, and every loss isn't your fault or going to lose before even. And the only thing that you yourself can shit like robot overlords, just about. Okay,
well, there was a place where you rattled off a bunch of games that you thought implement this kind of technology, and what was it? Let's see, what was it? It was League of Legends. What was it? Apex, Fortnite, Fortnite. Okay, and then you said Overwatch, and then you said what else? CS, Val. Okay. Um, these are all shooting games. People essentially, at the core of it, do the same thing. They just shoot people. Okay? CS and Val, tact shooters, stand still, shoot guy. This one you got grenades. This one you got some abilities, which are mostly just smokes and walls and a couple other and flashes and whatever. Um, Overwatch, you know, movement arena shooter with respawn. All right, Fortnite, shooting with building. Apex, plug in the roller, shoot the people. Okay, essentially these are all shooters, but individually they have a very different skill set. So if you're insanely good at CS and Val, there's going to be at least a little bit of carryover between all shooting games, because if you can shoot and put a reticle on someone, there's going to be some degree of carryover. All right, but then each game is going to have its own individual unique set of skills. All right, so at the tippy top of Apex, like the 1%, you're going to be so specialized in this game. Likewise, in Fortnite with the building, I don't know if they do no build tournaments, but for the most part, I think it's still like there's build tournaments. All right. And Overwatch, there's so many different characters that shoot, like, just, I don't know, one tricking one character can potentially just lead you down a rabbit hole of completely specializing in one type of way for shooting. Okay. So these are such great outliers that in order for a system or a machine to be able to sort out the top, even the top 10% of players in each of these games, they have to mix in with maybe the top 20% or let's say top 30% or something like that. There has to be some sort of way for these players to kind of intermingle. League of Legends is such a unique a game. Well, in the sense that League of Legends is like the only, what is it, a StarCraft like game or whatever, where you take a character, you got like some abilities, and then you just end up clicking everywhere. You know, there's like a map somewhere that you can like move around and shit. You know, it's essentially like a StarCraft or a Warcraft type game. So for them to come up with a highly specialized machine to sort out the players in such a way that is engaging, but so new players don't get smashed into the ground, because a lot of these games, like Apex has been out for what, 3-4 years. League of Legends has been out for what, 10-15 years. Fortnite, what, 5-6-7-8 years, something like that. Overwatch been around for a long ass time. CS and Val been around for a long ass time. There are people within every type of this game, of these games, that have been playing since day one, and the skill ceiling for these people, like, they're so far ahead of everybody else in their respective game that if a new player wants to come in, there has to be some sort of safeguard so that the new player doesn't get matched up against this 100,000 hour, like, no life bro who's been playing the game since day one and can easily trounce anybody. And there has to be some sort of safeguard. All right, those are the two extreme sides. But the hard part about sorting all these players out is the chunk in the middle. All right, that's always the hardest part with any game. Okay, because you know you have like your standard bell curve, right? Here, let me just oh god, here. No, paint bucket. There you go. You have, no, not paint bucket. What do you have? Where's a pencil? Do I have my pencil? Okay, great. You know, you have, wow. Whatever. Okay, let's say this is your graph, and this is the halfway point. That's 0. That's 100, and that's 50. You have, and then, like, this is going to be the peak. You have a standard bell curve. It's going to look like this. All right. I would say it's easy to sort out these people and these people. All right. It's hard to sort out, and let's just say this is the middle. It's hard to sort out all of this. This is the hardest part to sort out, all right? Because as you know, let's say you boot up a new game. Okay, you have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea. You kind of get it. You're getting a little bit more. Maybe you consume some YouTube content. You watch some videos. You watch your favorite streamer. Oh, I'm getting it now. Okay, this is how you do it. Okay, and I'm actually playing the game, and now I've reached here. All right, so you keep on playing the game. Maybe you have like a couple hundred hours in it now, or maybe less. Let's say you watch some, like, you start to pay attention to the competitive scene. Ooh, what are these people doing? Oh, they're doing this with this character and that with that character. Oh my god, these guys got so much good aim. Oh, this is the meta. All right, and this is where I would say the meta Andes come in. Right here. This is where all the metas come in. All right, so the meta is actually made right here within this lump, but this is a certain skill. The meta needs a certain level of skill in your type of game to be applied in a specific way. These players using this meta is just not going to happen. Thinking that, oh, because I'm just using the character the right way, I'm using the good character, and I'm almost there, I'm almost at that level, I have some degree of success, where this is just simply not the case. So, and then you have the engagement optimized matchmaking system trying to sort out all of these people. All right, and this is really hard. All right, it's just, it is what it is, man. Like, this is the best thing that they came up with. But I mean, I've been a victim of it. I played Apex for a while. I played Call of Duty, or modern Call of Duty, and it didn't feel good because with EOMM and SBMM, once you reach the 50th percentile mark, once you reach this point, you are literally, it feels like you're going against people right there. And that sucks. And that's where the win, lose, draw thing comes in the churn risk. Like, oh, you lost a couple right here. We're going to stick you against someone right here. Oh, did you lose again right here? We're going to stick you against someone right there. Oh, then did you win that one? Great. Maybe you're good. You can move up there. Oh, you won another one. Okay, here, let's put you right there. Okay, oh, I lost. Oh, dang, we got to go back one. And then, oh, we got to go back one more. And then, oh, maybe we won another one. Oh, and it's just, you're just hopping back and forth. That's all you're doing. And maybe over the course of time, you know, you can stay on like this side or maybe even progress there, but it just doesn't feel good as a player. And I don't know. It's just, it is what it is. Okay, that's enough of me ranting. So, whatever. This is my first time seeing Scooch. I liked the video. It was good stuff. I didn't think League of Legends had EOMM in it, so that's news to me. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. All right. So take it easy, guys. I'll see you in the next one, and catch you later. All right. Peace.